Today is Saturday, March 31st, 2018. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor Ghost Island Week 5.
Do you make up lyrics for what she's saying? I can't tell for sure what she's saying, but I make up lyrics.
Your theory...
In the song, in the intro song.
In the intro song.
The lady says something.
I know, but your theory's not even close, doesn't even remotely.
You don't want to know what I put in my belly button. Doesn't that sound like it?
No.
You don't want to know what I put in my belly button.
I know, you've been singing that for weeks, but I still think you're nuts.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You're losing it, you're slipping.
I think I'm on to something. I just hadn't quite nailed it.
There's nothing that sounds like belly button.
Some of the fans will probably figure out what it is.
Some fantasy that you have going on.
I don't know if that has to do with the fantasy. It's just that's what it sounded like she was saying.
No, I don't want to know what anybody put in their belly button.
All right. We want to know what people thought about this week's episode, huh? That's the whole purpose of the listener feedback show. How many super fans?
19
super fans checked in on to talk about week 5 of Survivor Ghost Island.
On Easter weekend.
Yeah, on an Easter weekend, so a holiday weekend to boot. So these are dedicated fans, and I'm anxious to hear what they thought about this episode. We shared our thoughts on the recap Wednesday night, and then things were rolling in. I think as we were recording our recap, calls were coming in.
Yeah.
People were registering their thoughts. I know Jacqueline said it was just all raw emotion for her, so I'm looking forward to hearing all these.
Yeah, we had 6 Wednesday night, I think. So.
Yeah, by the time we were done, when we got our recap out, there's 6 had already come in. Good deal. Well, let's kick it off with Pete and see what he thought.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Blindside. Nice. Woo! Now sing with me. Na 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 na. Hey, goodbye. I really feel sorry for Malolo, who is now losing everyone. Oh, well, you know what though? All kidding aside, though, this was a great episode and a doozy woozy. And I'll admit, I'm a little bit sad to see James go. He seemed like not a bad player. Not that he was great. He was okay in challenges. And ultimately, I think he was just seen as a threat from Malolo. It's too bad that team keeps on losing. It's going to be so hard for them come the merge. I can't believe none of those guys are looking for an idol there. There's got to be an idol somewhere in play. And no Ghost Island this episode. Wow. Probably because of the tribe swap, which was interesting. So you have Chris and Wendell working together, but I think Chris is going to watch out now. His ego is getting the better of him now, and he's being a little bit cocky. He might be one of the first ones out come the merge. Same with Bradley. I like that him and Dom came back together. I think Bradley, too, going to watch his back. Libby, I'm hoping Libby can make the merge, because people underestimate, well, Dom doesn't underestimate her. Called her Poverty 2.0, and she did help get rid of Morgan. I really like Libby, and I like Donathan still. We'll see if he stays loyal with Dominic. Donathan got the best one-liners for sure. He's quite a character. And by the way, guys, Probst was wrong. Malolo is losing almost every tribal, but they've won one immunity challenge. Remember, guys, the worst tribe ever by far is Oolong. They didn't win not one immunity challenge, and Stephanie was the only survivor of for that tribe, if you remember. So sorry, Jeff, you were wrong about Malolo being the worst, but they're one of the worst. And oh, by the way, I like Kellen. Kellen's turning into quite a decent player. Desiree, I had a feeling Desiree might go, but you know what? As Probst said about the word gut, I knew Angela was going to stay with her original tribe and get rid of James, because I think she wanted to show maybe that she was still with Navidi, but who knows how long that will last, too. We'll see, but I love this episode. Sad to see James get blindsided, and I love the three tribes. It's interesting how they all turned out, and I bet Ghost Island comes back next week, too. All right, Joanne and Stacy, great episode. Take care. Woo.
Woo. All right, thanks, Pete. Yeah, I noticed in the Dalton Ross interview with Probst that Probst said Ghost Island will be back. It's going to be a factor all the way to the end, he says.
Okay, I hope it's more
Unfortunately.
Of a factor. If it's going to be any factor, make it more, Probst.
Least significant, yes.
Pete made me think about Palau, and have any other players come back from Palau other than Stephanie and Bobby John and Tom Westman was on Palau, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only three that have ever come back, right?
Those are the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head. I was just making sure that you remembered Tom, because he came back for, Heroes versus Villains?
Yeah, one of those. But they haven't brought a lot of those from that season.
Is there someone from that season you wanted to see again?
Kobe?
He's funny, but I don't know. Was he significant in
I don't know.
the game?
I like him. He's a nice person.
Yeah, all right.
He's a nice guy. I like him. And yeah, I thought he was humorous on the show.
He was definitely snarky.
You had Katie and Ian, and there's a lot of people on that season that were players, but...
I didn't want to see any more of Ian after he fell apart at the end.
No, not after he quit, basically.
Yeah. Katie would have been interesting, but I think she had other stuff she wanted to do.
She was still traumatized from that season. So, but anyway, I was just I found that odd that not too many people from that season had been back. Okay, move along. Let's hear what Shea has to say.
Hey guys, it's Shea. It was another great episode. First of all, I loved the challenge. Usually the call-out challenge where they're all blindfolded are these big puzzle pieces, and I love that this time they made it something different, that they had several challenges to do while blindfolded, including a puzzle. If that's happened before, I don't remember it, so it was new to me, and I really, really liked it, and I thought they all did a really good job. I'm really excited to see little Donathan just out there doing his thing. He's doing good. I mean, I don't think I've seen him flounder exactly in any challenge so far, and I mean, well, the one where they had to go underwater, they basically had to shove him in, but outside of that, he's done really well, and I'm surprised by that. I guess I shouldn't be. I don't know what kind of person that makes me to prejudge him, but I think we all do. Tribal Council, I loved how Kellen talked about the gut being the heart and the mind coming together on a decision or an instinct, and I like how James was talking about tribes not necessarily being the most important, really it's connections. And then I'm surprised by who left, not necessarily sad about it, but surprised. I thought they had convinced Angela to come over to their side, James and Michael. I'm glad to see it wasn't Michael, though. I'm really not ready for him to go. I'm hoping he can pick his game back up and run with it. He's such an adorable little dude with quite a bit of intelligence. I really, really, really just can't stand Chris. To watch him talk about himself in the way that he does and then refer to it as being charismatic and charming and having to do so to make social connections, just such a chore to talk about himself non-stop. And it's so funny because, he thinks he's so fine, and here are these girls who he thinks are probably swooning, who are about as annoyed as they be with just his every word. Cracks me up. And Dom, oh my gosh, he's the same way. He's exactly the same way, except he's not talking about his looks. He thinks he's so smart and that he's played everybody. And those two need to go to Ghost Island by themselves together, is what I think, and stay there. And as far as the breakdown into 5 people, 3 tribes, I was excited for it to go that way, and it did, but I don't know how long it can really last like that. Malolo, if they lose again, 3 people is not a tribe. 4 people is barely a tribe. Surely after the next challenge, when somebody goes home, they'll have to go back to 2 tribes. I don't know. I don't think a challenge is much fun when you've only got 3 people trying to pull it off. But a great episode, as usual, and I cannot wait to hear what everybody thinks, because it just makes the show better. I go back and watch it a second time, and I notice things I didn't notice before, thanks to all the callers who saw something I didn't. It really adds to the show in a way that I can't thank you enough for. You guys have a great day, and hey, everybody.
Thanks, Shea.
I really think they'll probably just merge, because after the next person goes...
Week 7 will be a merge, yeah.
Yeah, because
I think you're probably
usually
right.
when there's 20 players, they often merge at 13, or at least they've done that before. So, in most more recent seasons. So I won't be surprised if they merge at 13, but they could hold it off till 12 or go back into 2 for a week and then do it again. So I don't think it'll be all that long, though. But I'm okay with her sending Chris and Dom as long as they take Bradley with them.
Yeah, there's definitely... Who else could you put? Could you put together a tribe of 5 of the most arrogant? The 3 are easy.
Yeah.
Chris, Dominic, and Bradley. Who else sort of falls in?
Sebastian, maybe a little.
Is he arrogant? See, I'd put him in the
Not
clueless
as much,
camp.
but-
He's really clueless.
But let's see. Maybe Kellen.
Yeah, there's 4. Is there one more? I don't know that there's one more that clearly fits in that category. But that's something to
Possibly Libby.
have that many big heads. Yeah, we really hadn't seen enough of her to know.
Yeah. Well, I would have to go with either Libby or Sebastian to round it out.
Oh, you made me think, too. Pete mentioned Libby just prior to Shea here. And there's that extra video with her where she's talking, but she's doing the beauty pageant smile the whole time while she talks.
She's talking on the camera. She's smiling.
It just cracked us up when we were watching it.
Because her teeth have to show it the whole time.
She definitely shows her upper teeth the whole time she's talking. There's something, and Dominic picked up on it, although Dominic's going to probably be suspicious of any woman that he doesn't think responds to him somehow. I'm just guessing, given everything we've seen about him.
Well, he
picked up on the danger that Libby represents.
But I think it's just because she doesn't share fully with him.
Yeah.
Or the way they talk, really, anybody.
Interact.
She's not even...
There's a distance. Yeah, she's closed.
She, even within the 3 other people that she was on the Navidi 2, I
wonder if that all happened with the Morgan vote.
Group.
I could see why Dominic would still be sort of burning on a slow burn after the Morgan thing. And the way that Morgan cast some shade on Libby on the way out.
Had Libby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So maybe it's that, or maybe Libby's just too cold. I don't think she's really in the vain group. She's not. We don't see. They're not giving us any clips of her celebrating herself the way the other 3 do.
She does have that something standoffish. I don't know. Maybe it's just like Dominic. She's more paranoid.
Yeah, she's got more of a bot feel to her than she does an arrogance.
Yeah, it feels like she's just keeping herself isolated.
Yeah.
Somewhat by her attitude, even though she's interacting, but she's not, herself isn't coming out. And I don't think people trust that.
All right, good job. Thanks, Shea. Got us talking. Next up, we got an email from Mike in Omaha. I felt like a complete genius this week. Now, before anyone gets cockeyed, I will say this, knowing full well this is the first time this season I got a vote-off point. The fact that it was right after a swap, I just feel good. I had no idea who would go, so I went back to the basics. Look at who has no connections to anyone. So I said James, and as Desiree confirmed in the episode, basically verbatim, he is an easy target for that very reason. As soon as I saw the way the tribes broke, I had this feeling deep down that James was going home. Angela is a complete mess, isn't she? I feel a pang of sympathy for her, but just a pang, not deep, lasting compassion. Survivor's not the place to rebuild your life. I don't care what Prope says. It just isn't. Jeff needs to quit peddling that to the tourists. That's a good line, isn't it? I'm glad Desiree ate that humble pie and accepted 100% of the blame. Of course she knew she was safe as a kitten, but even so, good on her. Kellen's answer about her heart or head was fantastic. So much so that if I were sitting by her, I'd immediately go, I can't face this girl in the final tribal council. That would actually probably be a pretty good move, calling her out like that. Stacy was cracking me up listening to your guys' recap. He doesn't begrudge Kellen even a little credit. I'm not a Kellen fan for sure. I'd love to hear Joanne and Stacy's views on her. She seems like a smart gal to me. Stacy doesn't seem to be a fan. Yep. But I'm not sure why, and I can't tell how Joanne feels about her.
Well, that's odd, because I've said I just don't like her.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's come back to that.
Can't relate to her.
We'll come back at the end.
Okay.
I wonder if Michael, but that's your preview. I wonder if Michael voted for James simply because he knew it was one of the two of them. How does Michael benefit throwing away his vote at one of the girls going back to camp with them? Better to just pile on the rabbit and keep your dang head down. Good for you, Michael. This season's dud theme continues to disappoint, so much so that this week it wasn't even mentioned. I believe they'll bring it back post-merge, or hope they do. I think James was shocked with his ousting because he clearly was on the outside, unaware of the true wheeling and dealing as he had been from the get-go. Naturally, it is a shock to him. I think Libby, Laurel, and Angela are all in trouble next week. I would think the victim will come from that pool, but this season has been tricky to predict, says the guy that got one right after the shuffle to 3.
It's more than I've done.
Loved hearing from Rajmi last week. I missed her thoughts. She's great. Wish her and all my fellow listeners and Joanne and Stacy a great week ahead. Thanks, Mike. Good job there.
Yeah, that's really all I had to say is that I just don't care for Kellen. I just can't, she's one of those I can't put my finger on. Like I don't really like Libby.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't feel a connection or that I could connect with them. I'm not connecting for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Could be me, but I just don't have a connection. I wouldn't cheer for either one of them unless they did a lot more than what they've done so far. Though, I do think Kellen has game. She definitely has game. And she's playing this game. I respect that.
She's been fortunate in that she's been able to play from a position of power from the drop.
From day one.
I don't think she's been tested yet. Now, as to why I'm not a fan, it goes to what you're saying. I don't feel any connection to her at all. Actually, I think she's fronting a whole lot because she's actually not that different from Angela in the sense that she's not quite sure what's going on. Even though she's had all these recent revelations in her life and she's made these changes and whatnot, none of it connects or triggers for me, and I think she's still wandering a bit.
I think she's got another side that's...
Dark Kellen that we talked about.
Dark Kellen.
Dark Kellen is definitely
there.
there.
Dark Kellen to come out.
So it was not this week's, but the previous weeks when she gave the big shrug with a comfort touch from Jenna, and then this week you see Jenna go to give a comfort hand to Michael there when the shuffle's coming, and you can see how it's accepted, and there's just a warm friendliness there and the contrast in the two.
And who was it that hugged... it was Libby that hugged Chelsea when she was crying about missing home with the coffee.
Yep.
She went over and gave her a hug.
Yep.
And that was received. And they're on opposite tribe. Well, they're on the same tribe now, but, they're
opposite alliances
odds.
is what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, you can see that Libby's got comfort. We know Laurel can comfort Jenna. And there's a coldness to Kellen, and I haven't seen it yet. She doesn't appeal to me yet. I can't find a reason to cheer for her. I don't know if that helps Mike at all. Mike's got her dialed in. I think he's a big fan, and good for Mike.
Well, we may love her by the end of the show, but right now I just not relating. I don't hate her either.
Cold Dark Kellen. That's CDK.
Okay.
That's where I am, Mike. Thanks, Mike. Let's check in with Sophie. I think her and her family had a really good time with this episode. We'll get some sample laughter while they were watching at the very end here.
Hi Joanne, Stacey, Survivor fans. I'm here doing a really quick audio. It was a really good episode. Me and the kids were just laughing non-stop. There were so many good parts. It's like Survivor producers know that we've been let down by Ghost Island, so they made this one really, really good. Weren't we just laughing the whole time? What did you think of the challenge?
I think it was quite cool, but it was annoying when
Desiree
kept on screaming at them. And if you were blindfolded, and someone was just screaming at you, and you just felt annoyed, and you were like, "Okay, she's screaming at me," and tons of other people are screaming at me. Two other people are screaming at other tribe members. How do I know which one's her voice? But you could definitely know because she's the one screaming it all out.
Yes, her voice was like really screeching, and we thought she was going to go, didn't we?
I wish she did. She did.
Well, I don't know. I always thought she had a lot of potential, so we were shocked that 4 people voted for James.
Mm-hmm.
And that look that he was giving everybody. Remember, you were saying, why is he sitting up so straight and looking so strange?
I know. Who voted for me?
Okay, so next week, who do you think is going to be first one out? Next week.
Chris, if his tribe loses, because everyone in his tribe is getting annoyed of him. I played volleyball as well. Oh, I was a model. Keeps on talking about himself, and so it's making the other tribe members annoyed. Who from his tribe just listens to him?
Laurel, she's doing well, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of patience. Yeah, he is quite annoying, but he makes good TV, so...
He made that word.
Oh, yeah, what word? I can't remember, but we were laughing. Seriously, it was such a good episode. We loved it.
I liked it when it split into 3, the tribes. That made it interesting.
Yes, it was my prediction. I thought 3 tribes. Next week, though, I think they should send the 2 losing... Well, I guess there's 2 winning tribes, right? But I think that there should be 1 winner, but then 1 from each of the 2nd and 3rd tribe should send 1 person to Ghost Island. So
that'd be cool.
They can sort of bond and work together maybe. Or do something. Well, I don't know. Next week, I'm not sure. Maybe there's going to be some stress about making fire, but I don't know who's going to go.
Remember, everyone got hurt. Everyone kept on getting hurt during the challenge.
Yeah, the challenge was funny.
Pole.
Well, we hope Libby and Chelsea are okay. But take care, everybody, and have a good weekend. Gotta go.
Bye.
Bye. What's she doing?
What's wrong?
She said she included a little note with that. It was when Donathan and Chelsea were spinning in the blindfold challenge.
And the word is beneficiary instead of beneficial.
Yeah, good deal. Well, we enjoyed that. Thanks, Sophie and Sophie's co-host. Next up, we got audio from Susan. She got a lesson on shells.
Hey, Joanne and Stacey. This is Susan from Hawaii. I wanted to make a couple of comments about my USD Sebastian. I think he's got a kind of a popular position on the tribe because Wendell brought him his stinky shell. That was a good move on Wendell's part, too. He's building an alliance with the group that has the number with somebody who appears to be pretty popular. I don't understand why he's so popular. I think he's kind of annoying. And he does not know his shells. What he says is a conch shell is actually called a cowrie shell. And I should know. I live in Hawaii. We got tons of them here. We don't have a lot of conch shells. They're a little more rare. But the conch is that really big spiral, has a spiny outside, white spiny outside or whitish spiny outside, a flared lip, and then that pink fleshy salmon color. People blow them to go make a horn. They're huge. It's a completely different shell. So I'm a little bit irritated that he doesn't know that what he has at least is not a conch shell. If he doesn't know it's a cowrie shell, that's okay. But okay, so that irritated me about him. Regardless, he does seem to have some sort of a popular position. Like people kind of come to him and, I think one of the terms I heard them say is, I've been hearing about the legend of Sebastian. When they merged tribes, somebody said that to him. And I'm like, what? Like, why is he so popular? Anyway, I don't know what his position's going to be. He seems so too dumb to me to really be able to pull himself all the way to the end. I don't know. Maybe he's got something going. Maybe I picked a good USB after all. I don't love him though. There's other people I love. I really love Wendell. I think he's smart. I'm kind of thinking he's got a good situation. I think he's got more awareness of his environment, and he's adapting to that. I do think that the Malolo people are going to be in trouble because they don't have the numbers. Once they get to the merge, they're at a 5-to-9 ratio now. And I think the reason Angela did not flip is because once they have a mix-up, she's going to be the bottom of the pile. But if she's voted against someone, she'll be the first off of the bottom of the pile because there's not enough people. If she takes maybe her and Chris, they know they're both the bottom of the Navidi pile, I think. That's still not enough to balance things out and shake things up. At least that's the way I see it. I have to make one more comment about Chris and that sort of arrogance that he's got. Okay, some of his lines are, like this is the entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur of me, and how exhausting it is to be so, I guess, I don't know what his words were, awesome. He's just a braggart about himself, but he doesn't realize, he doesn't have that self-awareness of how he's coming across to people. I think he's going to be kept around because he's good to have in challenges. I don't think he's going to be the winner because he's too irritating. I didn't enjoy the ending. I did not enjoy James's quote-unquote blindside, but I did really enjoy the episode because of all the other stuff that was going on. But I did not enjoy the tribal council as much as I usually do, but they edited it well enough so that I enjoyed the episode. Talk to you later. Bye. And I love your show. It's awesome.
Well, thank you, Susan. I think you did a good job summing that up, too, about why we enjoyed it, and then we had to pause to think about what had actually happened in the episode.
Wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah,
they didn't show
pulled
us.
a fast one. It's too bad James wasn't able to convey to Angela that they could have had the numbers with her, that there was a path. Because if you look at it, at the merge, it could, if Angela would have pivoted and gone with James and Michael, you would have Angela, James, Michael, Libby, Donathan, Laurel, Jenna, and Laurel and Donathan had that connection with Wendell. Donathan had a connection with Chris.
Yeah, maybe.
Donathan had a connection with Chris, and obviously Angela's got a connection with Chris. They would have been in the majority. And he could have sold a Final Four story there if he had seen it all and had been able to put that together.
I don't think he really had a chance because I believe Desi and Kellen really worked her in that we were loyal. We were loyal to all of our people, and we will be loyal to you. And the three people that voted for you, we'll vote them out first because they turned on one of our own, and just pull her right back into that sense of loyalty.
Yeah, maybe that's how it went down.
And that she can go to the end with them. Mm-hmm. Because they're all loyal.
That's the missing piece, right? You saw James almost basically say that.
Yeah, but
he
he's
should have
one person.
Explicitly said, let's go Final Four. Said some names.
Kellen's got, our five stayed loyal.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't turn on each other.
I guess that compelled her, probably.
So come with us. I think that's pretty good, especially since Malolo is totally outnumbered.
They're not out. No,
and I think some of them will survive a little while because once they get to the merge, then they're going to have to start picking off each other some too.
I forgot to mention you got Dominic, who's been ready to go against his original Naviti also. There were ways that had James and Michael really put their...
Donathan was not...
Dominic.
Dominic. Okay. Yeah.
Because of his battle with Chris.
Yep.
Yeah. All you have to do is offer him Chris or whatever.
Well, they're still going to go after each other. People are going to pick sides.
A lot of potential there.
Take one out and then probably take the other one.
The other thing that I thought about when I was listening to Susan and working on her audio, she's talking about the shells, the cowrie and the conch. It made me think about at sundown, hearing the guys in Hawaii blow the conch shells. Remember that? Yeah. And then the other thing is that the whole thing with Sebastian, there's a little bit of a controversy in The Little Mermaid with Sebastian. You remember that character that sings under the sea to her? Is he a crab or is he a lobster? And it's like it mirrored that little bit of confusion. Disney's always said that he was like a Jamaican red crab or whatever, but you look at him and go, that's a lobster when you're looking at him. Anyway, that was kind of a funny mirroring there that popped into my head when I was working on her audio, and she was pointing out that he had named the shells wrong. Thanks again, Susan. I enjoyed all that. Next up, we got an email from Myra in Kentucky.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Well, it's another pagonging. I'm beginning to think nobody from the original Navidi tribe has thought beyond the final 9, because that's the way they've been playing. Granted, Malolo has made it easier by voting off stronger players early like Gonzalez, Stephanie, and Brendan, but this tribe swap really stacked 2 tribes with strong players and one with all the fluff players that couldn't carry their own weight. Next, they picked the person that choked in the very first puzzle as the caller puzzle solver. What were they thinking? Ghost Island was a no-show this episode, but to be honest, it's been a no-show all season with the lack of impact it's had on this game. I'm assuming the producers have backloaded all the advantages to the later days in order to produce the most impact on the game. Mark this prediction in 4 to 6 weeks when we're all complaining about Idol Palooza, and it's like when Sari got voted out simply because she was the only one without an advantage.
Could be, yeah.
I did appreciate the return of the let's make sure at least one of the male contestants will never be able to father children challenge. Surprisingly, nobody took a shot to the nether regions. Malolo is in the running for the Oolong Prize with their record. Is being the losingest tribe in Survivor history another reverse the curse? I'll give better odds on James, you ain't lying, Miller, getting an English doctorate before Malolo wins a challenge.
Oh, that's good.
So James, Mr. Ineffective, is gone. Michael stabbed you in the back faster than Brutus on the Ides of March. We're getting closer to the merge every episode. We're setting up for a massive Chris Dominic blowout, but I'm guessing we're going to have to suffer through at least 2 more pagongings before we get to the interesting part of Survivor. Next time on Survivor, is that drama? Finally, Bradley's ticking people off, although I suspect that Navidi will stay together and win immunity yet again, forcing poor Malolo to tribal. If that happens, Michael will disappear faster than a plate of chicken nuggets around West Nail. Right now, if Donathan and what's-her-face, Jenna, will survive to the merge, they'll make it pretty far with the alpha male storm that's on the horizon. But they just need to avoid tribal until then.
Alpha male storm. I like that one.
Yeah. Good luck, everyone, and hopefully this season gets more interesting. All right. Thanks, Myra.
Yeah, enjoyed that. Good job.
Up next, we have a voice clip from Taz.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Taz in Louisiana. Well, it looks like we had another tribe switch, and as I suspected, we went to 3 teams. Well, I guess this just keeps us on our toes, or just guessing, what tribe is he on, or she on? And poor Michael. I really like him as a player, but it just seems that he can't catch a break. I mean, he's been orange since day 1, and as it's looking now, orange is the new dead, and I'm thinking that he might just be the next to go. And as for Chris, I just really don't think he realizes how full of himself he really is. But maybe while he's watching the episodes unfold, he'll catch a clue. One good thing about the tribe switch is it put my USB Wendell in a little bit better situation than he was before. So I'm happy about that. I really enjoyed the immunity challenge, and Wendell, even though he did forget the bags, he performed wonderfully, and I think he's a real asset to his new tribe, and I think he'll be safe until the merge. The editors did a good job with Tribal Council. Although I was pretty sure it was going to be James, they kept us guessing to the end, and I really like that. I was surprised to see, however, that Michael voted for James. Oh well, that's how it goes. Well, that's all I have to say for tonight. And as always, thanks for all you do. We really enjoy the show. Taz in Louisiana, over and out.
Oh, I like that. Good one, Taz. Next up, we got another call from Kim-n-Cameron.
Hi, this is Kim again.
And this is Cameron.
From North Carolina.
Yes.
So, first thing, I was really happy about the new tribes because I find it boring when there's a tribe that's really struggling and always having to go to tribal council. I like the switch up to the 3 tribes.
Definitely interesting. Chris, I'll have to say about Chris, it's sort of interesting how they keep on showing him. I'm sure some other people have some big egos out there too, but we got to read, they're really embellishing on him presenting himself. So that's either, I feel like that'll either put him to the very end with as much as they're showing him, or like out very soon, and we'll understand why. Another thing with Navidi, Dominic and Libby, I didn't really understand what Libby did to him. I assume he was referring to the Morgan vote out, but all of a sudden Dominic's just really, I mean, he called her a devil in angel's clothing, which I guess she could be, but we haven't seen much of her, so I think that was interesting how they throw that out there, so that might put them in the hot spot next week. Also, Ghost Island, as many others were last week, I'm still disappointed. They just did nothing. They didn't even try with it this week. Just a tribe swap, figured no one's going to Ghost Island, I guess. But if that was the twist of the season, I'm definitely disappointed thus far.
So Cameron and I were talking, and it seems like the voting is still following along with the original tribe lines, which we find kind of interesting, given that they've already been through their second tribe swap.
Like how at the tribal council, Jeff called Malolo he said this is one of the worst tribes ever in terms of competition. But actually, I mean, I was thinking of past tribes. There's been worse. Fong and Gabon never won. Ravu and Fiji never won. And then who could forget the whole Oolong situation? They completely just dissolved. They couldn't win anything, and I guess they didn't want to swap tribes or anything, but in Palau, but it ended up very fatal towards them.
Yeah, isn't it great that I have a student who has such an extensive knowledge? But one last thing, we just wanted to say that we're always listening for something to do with math, or when Jeff ever talks about probability, and we didn't notice anything too horrible this time, but we just wanted to say to Jeff, if he's listening, hey dude, hit us up, let's talk some probability and statistics.
Well, there was one, he said your chances now are much greater than the beginning of the game with the swap, and with 15 people left, it's not like you're encouraging them that much, I feel. So that was just sort of embellishing on that. Well, I'm interested in seeing what he can mess up on in the next few weeks in terms of statistics.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
Good job. I like the historical references. Good memory there, Cameron. Next up, we got an email from NaHamSha Girl. Well, that was annoying. With no clue how the tribe shuffle would work and who would be where, I picked my vote out this week the only practical way possible. The random number generator, RNG, baby, on the internet. Got the same results as if I'd done the brain work. Kellen's number came up, I took it, and I was wrong as I would have been had I done my own pick. Oh well, there's always next week. Now that there is a better picture of the tribes, I'll take this back. Thanks anyway. Chris is one fantastic survivor player / human being. Just ask him. He'll tell you all about it. I'm happy for him that he has found the greatest love of all, but listening to his self-bromance was a bit much. Donathan reminds me a bit of Kate McKinnon's impersonation of Jeff Sessions on Saturday Night Live. I'm not sure that he has the ability to read people and could easily get swayed into an alliance that will dispose of him when convenient. Watch out, Donathan. There ought to be some good interaction between him and Bradley this week based on the previews. I'm still impressed with Michael. If there is a Malolo curse, he's been taking the antidote since the series started, or he's the source of it. Why were people not searching for or even mentioning idols? Yeah, you and Pete have that same question. People, this is Survivor. That is what you do on Survivor, especially since this series is called Survivor Ghost Island, and there was no Ghost Island. James, when he was out, realized he was out, and his momentary paralysis tells me that he never considered for a minute that this was a possibility. He was such a mediocre player that he won't be missed this week, as I am feeling pretty meh about this episode. Come on, Survivor, let's get a little more interesting. Thanks, Stacy and Joanne, for all the other super fans. Wishing you all a happy weekend with friends and family, however you celebrate it. Thanks, NaHamSha Girl. Did really good with that. Next up, got a call from Drew and his crew.
Hey everyone, this is Drew.
And Charlie, Adelaide.
And Adelaide.
And Kitty.
And some airplanes and Kitty. That's who's with us this morning. So let's do a quick recording. So another good episode. Not great, like you were saying. I mean, there was some tricky things going on. There was some funny things, some odd things. And I don't so much mind being blindsided, but I mean, there should be some hint of something happening, before it happens. But I guess maybe there was and we just didn't read it right. I just think that that James was kind of a waste of casting anyway. He just didn't really ever know what was going on. And I can't remember whoever said it last week, but maybe you guys can remember when he was described as the nerd who saw the muscle guys at the beach and then he became one.
Josh.
When he wasn't performing in challenges, I thought that he's kind of like, those guys who work out a lot and get really superficial muscles. So they look really strong, but they're just not really actually that strong. And so that description was perfect. I thought that was perfect. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. So good job, whoever that was. So challenges, yes. Lots of challenge drama. And yes, Desiree's voice was very grating. But apparently it didn't do the trick anyway. So, right? That was the immunity challenge, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Gosh, so much blurring together. As for Chris, yeah... It's a good thing he's on there to break a lot of those stereotypes about models. It's so weird that people think they're dumb. It's really beneficiary for him and his comrades that he can be out there and correct some of those, false ideas. So that's really great. Okay, I don't really have too much else to say. All right, so when it comes down to Chris versus Dominic, I'm pretty sure I'm solid team Dominic. And I feel like a lot of people are leaning that way too. I still like Michael. I like Laurel. I do not like Sebastian.
Hey, Sebastian is a little crab.
Yeah, like Sebastian the crab. Wendell is kind of a blank space. Donathan is kind of a blank space. They're there and they're participating, but it's hard to really tell what impact they're having. Same with Desiree, kind of. Man, Bradley, that was wishful thinking for a vote-out point, but hey, at least I didn't lose a safe point on Desiree. Oh, by the way, winner of the week, Laurel, I guess, because she's able to listen to Chris without completely calling him out. And loser of the week, Chris. James is a close runner-up. Okay, I think that's about all I have today. Do you guys have anything else to say?
I got that airplane from a boy and this airplane from Mama's closet.
He got a couple new airplanes yesterday. One was from a boy. They were just walking with Mommy to the park. There was a boy on the path, and he said, "Hey, kid, you want an airplane?" And he gave him an airplane. So that's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, and I said, "Thank you."
Yep, he said thank you. Sometimes life will surprise you, so...
He called me kid.
He said he did call you kid. Okay, well, we'll talk to you guys next week. Another busy weekend. These busy Saturdays just keep coming and coming, and here's hoping that the damage I did to my car yesterday won't be too expensive to fix. We'll find out later this morning. Okay, talk to you later. Bye!
Good job, kid.
Hope it's not as expensive as mine's going to be.
Yes, yeah. We thought the 90 Accord that the AC wasn't working on just needed some coolant, but this is not the case. So.
No, it isn't. Not even close.
Yeah.
New compressor, new radiator, some kind of tube that broke, and I just put a whole new system in like 2-3 years ago. Oh, well, she's been very good to me.
Yeah, that's why you're holding on. My first thought was, new car time. That's a significant amount.
She's only 28 years old. She only has 124,000 miles on her.
Yeah, I hope yours is nowhere near as bad as ours is, Drew.
Honda Accord.
Yeah, good deal. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Adelaide, Kitty, and the two planes. Next up, got a call from Kenny.
Hey, guys, it's Kenny from Dallas. Well, I agree we were not shown what the Malolo tribe was up to just prior to Tribal Council. I'm sure the producers did it to keep the vote more suspenseful. After the show, you realize what a waste of time Tribal Council was. It again becomes a forum for Jeff to ask, quote, probing, insightful, meaningful, close quote, questions regarding the tribe's thoughts and feelings. Instead of the empty Tribal Council time could have been allotted to a proper Survivor intro. I, for one, always liked the intro in which all the tribal members were introduced. It was like a video version of Paul's roster. The intro was then truncated, and now it is completely gone. Something also missing is the building of the campsites. It always led to an insight regarding the intertribal dynamics. It would have been really interesting to see how the Green Tribe dealt with the bad luck of having to build a new campsite. Well, Bradley and Chris must never have watched Survivor, and they must be plants. Otherwise, they surely should have known that their braggadocio was instant Survivor gold and definitely make it into the edit. Well, how is Survivor like real life? Well, Stars have tanked this season. That we were supposed to make the playoffs. We didn't. In fact, I'm going to their last game tonight, home game tonight. Same way this Ghost Island premise has been a tremendous disappointment. Now, instead of going to the Stars game tonight, I should have been going down to San Antonio to see Duke play. But how is real life, not like Survivor now, but like the Survivor podcast? It turns out that my beloved Duke team are also fans of your podcast. They listened to your show, and they heard Stacy say that this 7-day fast is a really good idea. So all the Duke players did it. By the time they played Kansas the other day, they had no energy, and they tanked. Thanks, Stacy. You must be a Kansas fan. Take care, guys. Bye.
I guess technically I'm a Ramblin' Wreck and a Yellow Jackets fan, but I'll play along and say, go Jayhawks. I enjoyed that, Kenny. Good job. By the way, there are some extra videos where they talk about setting up the new camp. There's at least one with Wendell and I forget who else.
Sebastian. How easy it was.
Yeah, and they're talking about it.
No time at all.
Oh, Jenna talked about it too, about how they divided up the tasks so well.
No,
like it
I
all.
thought that was Laurel.
I think it was Jenna. In any case, there's two or three, probably. There are 2 or 3 extra videos where they talk about setting up the camp. But I'm with you. It used to be an important part of the actual episode, so you saw the social dynamic a little more. And it used to be a good place for people to get annoyed. But I think this one went so smooth. There was no drama. There was no payoff for the social dynamics, given how several of the folks there on the Yanuya tribe described it.
I think that's also why we're not seeing people search for idols. I don't for a second think that nobody's searching. I just think since nobody's found anything, they're not wasting time on that when they have plenty of other
in the
footage.
Past, that was, I can't think of any case where that wasn't what was actually going on when we had asked in some of the interviews. Good deal. Thanks again, Kenny. Next up, we got an email from Doreese in California.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Just providing some quick comments on the 3 most annoying personalities.
I like how this is starting.
Dominic. He is glad to be rid of Chris because he knows he can't compete with Chris on any level. Did you notice that when Navidi won the immunity challenge, Dominic started to force his way forward to grab the idol from Jeff, even though he was in the back row? I did notice that. He needed Chris to be gone so he could establish himself as the tribe alpha male. Chris. He obviously thinks highly of himself and is a one-upper.
Yeah, one-upper, topper. Yep.
But at least we've been shown a more sympathetic side to him that makes him more amusing and therefore tolerable. And a big shout out to the music editors. I love that dodo music behind his beneficiary confessional.
That was good.
And Bradley, can we all please apply the law of attraction and focus our collective thoughts on voting Bradley out? He is such an unpleasant person. Thank you for all you do. Oh, and P.S. Stacy was on fire during the recap. His snarky observations had me laughing out loud.
Okay. Was that snarky?
I don't know.
I don't remember either. Thank you, Doreese.
I don't remember what you said.
Yeah.
All right. Good job, Doreese. Up next, we have a voice clip from Brandon.
Warming up the pipes. Let's hear it.
Where, oh, where has my USB gone? Oh, where could he be? Yeah, I feel like I might as well get some practice in the way things are going. Man, yeah, another bad week for me. Well, we'll see what happens now. I'm still enjoying the season. Hopefully something changes and goes my way as far as USB, the challenge. Yeah, see, I'm all confused now. I can't even talk. So I'm going to just go ahead and end this feedback early. Happy Easter, everybody. Peace.
Oh, thanks for checking in, Brandon. Your misery warms my heart.
Oh.
He's in the same boat as me now.
Yeah.
Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana. And finally, someone gets voted off that I don't care that much about. Finally. Oh my goodness.
Honesty.
I liked James, but having James leave is completely different from having Brendan leave and Stephanie leave. I wasn't invested in James as a player. Oh, yeah, I'm not yelling at the TV because he's voted off. 3 tribes and no go style in this episode. What? Yes! Woohoo! We can actually get strategy and just social interaction, and we won't have to watch Nope Game for You and someone tell their story and cry. I mean, we actually get some playing, and yeah, it's awesome. Pretty solid episode, and the challenge, good. Sometimes those are entertaining, sometimes they're stressful, and I feel like this was more entertaining because a lot of times people get like hurt a lot, but you know, there was a couple bumps and bruises here, but nothing too bad, so you know, I was able to enjoy it without going, oh my gosh, no. Desiree completely blows the challenge for them, and I was so ready to see her go. I was gonna give Angela a pass because she could have saved the two Malolos, Michael and James, but nope, she had to just, oh, you know what is with these people? Like, Naviti, come on, snap out of it. This is New School Survivor. This is not 2001. This is 36. Come on, people. Why? No original tribe strong. Like James said, it's random. It's not, you don't, and Jeff said, you don't believe Malolo or Naviti. It's just a buff. And oh my gosh, and these people, and we have to keep Naviti strong. I'm like, play the freaking game. James doesn't do anything. Okay, the dumbest thing I have heard through 36 seasons of Survivor, get out the strong. Who cares? Let the bros bro it out at the merge. I'm ranting. I enjoyed this episode. I really did. I don't know why I'm just going off right now. But seriously, what is the big deal with the getting off strong people? So what? They can win a challenge. As long as you're there, I don't think it matters. Wendell? We got to see some of Wendell, and wow, that guy, he's got one good social game, okay? Wendell definitely shined in this episode. Right now, if this season continues to be Naviti strong, I'm gonna lose it. I'm ready to see Kellen go. I'm ready to see Angela go. I'm ready to see Desi go. I'm ready to see Chris go. I'm ready to see Bradley go. Did I leave out any Naviti people? Did I? I probably did. I'm ready to see them go too. I'm just, what? Everybody except Dominic and Wendell, they can just get voted off. I'm just so done with them. Yeah, that's all I got, and see you guys next time.
I love that energy. Good job, Parker. Thank you.
Sounds like my frustration at my computer yesterday.
Yeah. Next up, we got a call from Jacqueline. Definitely feeling some emotions here.
What is up, Joanne and Stacy? What is up, Survivor fans? This is Jacqueline from Orange County, California. So today, my USB, James, left us. That was literally an emotional roller coaster. The editing team is on fire this season. I can't even predict what is going to happen. And to see him go, I was literally blindsided. Playing JSFL is on a whole nother level of watching Survivor. I totally thought Desiree was going to go. I was on the Facebook group, and Rajmi was saying that Desiree was going to go, so I had such much wishful thinking, and then it didn't happen. Literally, when I heard, James was voted out, Jeff here, I was so beside myself. I couldn't even put words together. All I was thinking was, all around me are familiar faces. It's a mad world over here today. For the episode, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I do not like the 3 tribes split up. I feel like they focus on 2 tribes, and the 3rd tribe, we don't even get to see any of it. And I think we saw that in this episode. This is all your fault, Joanne and Stacy. I've never felt this type of way about Survivor unless it was like a Ben bomb. But besides that point, that's what happens when the huge merge, but not at this point of the game. I have to look up the rules about picking a new USB. I think it happens after the merge, right? I don't know. Yep. I'm going to look up that up. But anyways, I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. Usually I do a deep dive into everything that I can hear about Survivor, then put all my thoughts together and rewatch it 3 or 4 times. But I had to call in about this episode. These are my raw thoughts. I'm sorry if it's messy and convoluted, but yeah, I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. Thank you so much, Strand and Stacey, again, for everything that you guys do. You guys freaking rock. I love all my Super Survivor fans. Oh, and also, random fact, I totally connected with my new boss about Survivor, and I told him how much I freaking love James Day, and he texted me as it happened, and he goes, "So much for your win." Oh, that even dug deeper. Anyways, bye.
Oh, I like your boss. That's good. Thanks for sharing that.
You guys make me feel better about myself.
Your angst
and the day I had yesterday.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Oh, good. And I think Jacqueline is your new candidate for
her singing.
That's just another level.
Yeah.
Jacqueline.
Gotta
intensity.
Take that risk. You're up next season 37. Just putting you on notice, Jacqueline. Next up, we got Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts, the purveyor of knowledge that Drew enjoyed so much last week about Muscle Beach. Josh says, Dear Joanne and Stacy, business picked up a bit this week, but it was basically more of the same. Yanuya reversed the Angkor curse by winning immunity, but Navidi still controls the tribes and pagonged another Malolo. Here's hoping that individual games start breaking out soon. My other observations. It's weird that a random draw yielded identical 3-2 Navidi Malolo splits on each tribe. Yanuya was gonna have to start from scratch if you wound up on Yanuya. Okay. First it was a dead weasel, now it's a dead conch. Sea bass must have been a dog in a previous life. They like the smell of dead things too. Chris is Roman Reigns. Looks like a star, has a few good moves, but when he opens his mouth, oi. Chris's Dingbat music track is now available for download on iTunes. Chris's lack of self-awareness approaches the coach or special agent level. Yeah, I think you're on point with that one. Seabass is lucky to still have 2 hands after Chris's boneheaded machete move. No kidding.
Oh, that was
really bad, right? Jeez.
That was just stupid.
Howell is back at home at Navidi Resort, enjoying the coffee maker the professor built. Thurston Howell, as played by Bradley. Bradley is Bradley's biggest fan. Narcissus much? Oh, that's good. That's brilliant. I think the blindfold challenge was created so Dr. Joe wouldn't get bored. After the immunity challenge, PETA demanded that dogs be evacuated from any further challenge where Desiree will be screeching. Wendell forgot a bag and had to go back. I do that with car keys. I laughed when Dom told blindfolded people to use the white piece. Wendell's great at giving directions. He should get a gig doing voiceovers for GPS apps. Malolo has the Lou Costello curse. The one who causes a loss isn't the one who pays for it. James's speaking style has all the emotion of Bill Belichick at a press conference. James decries myopic loyalty to a random grouping of people. I guess he won't be donating to the Harvard Alumni Fund this year. Kellen says her gut is in between her head and her heart. Who designed her body? Picasso. That's good, too. Ghost Island was a ghost this week. Like bad mystery novelists, the editors like to hide key information until the final reveal. I want to thank James for his contribution to the game. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Next time, Malolo endangers the show's ratings in red states with a flag burning while Bradley channels Captain Obvious. Anyway, that's it from me for now. Thanks, Joanna and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thanks, Josh. Good job, man. Hey, we got a call from late night Nurse Jody.
Hey guys, Jody in Brisbane. Just a quick little hey. So pretty happy with my JSFL this and last week. Somehow I managed to get the vote off, and I'm chuffed as anything. But Ghost Island just isn't really hyping for me. That's a bit of a fizzer. I do enjoy just how ridiculous Chris is, and he has no idea. It's really funny that somebody so seemingly together just comes off like a donkey. Yeah, bit funny. Yeah. Would really like some subtitles for Donathan here and there, just to really capture what he's on about. Michael, I'm loving. Dominic, I reckon, is gonna, like, after he's, lost all this weight just before getting on there, you can see the weight just falling off him, and his eyes are like real big bug-eyed. I can't wait until he gets, I can wait till he gets voted out because I like him, but I can't wait till he comes off and has a look at himself in the mirror. I'm on a bit of a same sort of journey myself at the moment. I'm just really excited to see how little he gets. That's about it for me. I'm just coming off a night duty and, as usual, no coherent thoughts, but can't wait to hear what everyone else says, and can't wait for the merge. I feel like maybe something super fantastic is going to come. This season's just kind of dragging a little bit for me at the moment. Stuff to enjoy, but I was expecting a bit more. Alrighty, ciao, bye.
Oh, so good to hear from you. Thanks, Jody. And Jill's back. I'm thrilled we got Jill for this season.
Hi, Joanne and Stacey. Hi, Survivor fans. Jill from the Outback here. I know I've been really slack with my feedback, but I've loved listening to the recaps and all their feedback shows. I'm really liking this season. I was a bit dubious about the cast at first. I thought they were all a bit the same, but once we've gotten to know them, the characters have really come out. I can't help but like Chris, but I can't help but not like Brad. But for the same reasons, they're both arrogant, and that's not normally a quality that I like. But Chris is just so clueless to it. The way that he said that, that he didn't want to tell people that he was a model because people think that models are self-obsessed. He has no idea how he's portrayed. And that's probably the difference between him and Brad, because I think Brad does know that he's like that. I was happy to see them break up into 3 tribes. I think 2 tribes with the one extra going to Ghost Island. I don't know, Ghost Island's a bit of a dud for me this year. I think it's a really great idea, but nothing's happening there. They need more clues or games, idols, anything to make it a little bit more interesting. The blindfold challenge is always a bit of fun. I reckon Chelsea will be easier to recognise now because she's the one with the black eyes from her knocks. And Desiree's voice, man, that was a little bit annoying after a while, and she just had no idea how to direct Kellen on the puzzle. And I was so glad that Wendell made up for his mistake of not getting the 3rd bag back there. He's my USB, so I was happy to see that they came back and had a really good win. Isn't Jeff brutal when he's commentating? Des couldn't do the puzzle on day 1, and she's in charge now. Let's rub it in a little bit there, Jeff. Got to feel sorry for Michael, always been on the losing team. I still can't believe he's only 18, and he's getting away with saying that he's 23 easily. They must have had some good stories there for James to be so blindsided by his vote out. And I think it's clever for Michael to be voting with the majority. He may as well. If he's not going to be the one voted out, you may as well sort of show a little bit of unity for the ones that are the majority. It might do him some good a bit later on. So apart from Brad and Desiree, to an extent, everyone else I quite like. And I hope that Wendell does well. I hope that Dominic does well. And you said it yourself there, Stacey, that Donathan is a bit of a sentimental favourite too. I think that's probably all I've got. Happy days, everyone. Bye.
Oh, happy days. Jill's back. I enjoyed that. Thanks, Yay. Jill. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey everyone, Paul in Louisiana here, and I just watched the episode about a half hour ago, and these are my first thoughts, which should probably scare you all since I generally mull things over a day or two before I do my feedback. So my first thought was, where is the Ghost Island twist that they mentioned in the preview? If they dropped it, it might actually be for the better. I guess we'll see what's up over there next week. Lately we've been seeing a lot of things on the Next on Survivor scenes that don't actually happen in the next episode. I personally don't like this trend. So, I hate to toot my own horn, but I feel the need to share with all of you the fact that I've played beach volleyball also. I placed first in my state. In the country. I placed first in the country. Now, poor Chris. I actually feel sorry for him having to watch an edit that highlights his ego, which he invariably trips over in every single episode. Then he has to sit through people saying that he's essentially a blowhard, but they'll put up with it for a while as long as they're winning. In all seriousness, I can see this keeping him up at night. Hopefully he learns from this. It's his social game that's going to be the end of him, that's for sure. Now, Angela, wow, I have to say that her lack of ability to play the other side, shall we say, is a big problem for her game. She not only doesn't own a poker face, she's probably never even played poker before. She set off warning bells with Kellen, and that's probably not good, but more on that later. So my original pick for a USB is now gone. I dodged a bullet there, didn't I? James was, actually just a mediocre player, if even that. So I'm happy I didn't pick him, and even though I'm sorry when anyone leaves, I won't exactly miss him. And Jeff, I hate to disagree with you, but James was certainly not a strong player. Which brings me to my question. How low can Malolo go? Malolo. You probably missed it, but that was my impression of Chris. At any rate, the way I see it, Malolo hasn't a ghost's chance of winning immunity next week. They'll be off to tribal again, and I'm thinking that Michael's game gets cut short. In the following week, nothing changes, and then Desiree and Kellen will go after Angela, since Kellen sees her as a wishy-washy player. And then there were two. So that's it for this week. I am off now to Pennsylvania to visit Mom for Easter, so I'll most likely miss the next listener feedback show. But I will surely be here in spirit and listening to the podcasts on the ride back home. Happy Easter, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, Paul. You will be missed next week, but we hope you have a great trip. So you think that we'll see him go down to 2, like Paul was predicting here? Think Desiree and Kellen will be the only 2 to emerge from Monono?
I don't know. If they don't merge, then probably it'll be that team. They're not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't have the really strong. They don't have strength. They just don't.
So if they have to choose between Angela and Michael, do you think they'll really take Michael out?
I do.
Even though we did see in an extra video, Kellen said that she had a chance to talk a little bit with Michael.
Yeah, but I just think that she would be more afraid of the repercussions for leaving Michael in, getting that close to the merge, whereas Angela is at least original Navidi, and she's an easy out.
And she did vote with them this time.
And she's also a number. Like we said before, unpredictable, but if Kellen can see that she's brought her back into the fold, that sense of loyalty, because obviously Angela's loyal until her family turned on her.
Mm-hmm.
But Kellen wasn't one of that family and her group of 5. So if she's back into that, they won't get rid of her. If they feel confident of that, they'll definitely get rid of Michael. So I think that's probably how it would be if they lose. And I'm with Paul. I'd be surprised if they don't lose.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we just picked our pick for next week.
Yeah, sounds like it. That's where our head is right now.
But if I choose Michael, for sure another tribe will lose.
Okay.
Because I haven't won any vote up points.
Who's going to lose?
Let's see. If Navidi goes, they'll take out.
Well, there's the big battle, right, between Dominic and Bradley.
Yeah, that could be a red herring, and they go ahead and take out Libby.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see Bradley go home for any reason.
Yeah.
Don't care what.
Yeah, I like how you went right to Naviti, too, because it doesn't seem like Yanuya's going to lose. It seems unlikely. There'd have to be some goof.
I don't know how they could, yeah.
Yeah. So if
Monono
doesn't end up being the one to go, I'm with you, then Naviti's going to go. And so that could be the source of some of our drama from the next on Survivor.
Who would go if it was Yanuya?
Laurel.
Yeah, I think so, too. Because Sebastian's going to make a pitch to keep Jenna.
Yeah, and it's for the same reason. She's like she's not a threat. She's
Jenna's not a threat. Laurel is.
Yeah, and it's all going to pivot on Wendell if they do end up going to tribal council. So Laurel and Jenna, and primarily Laurel, because she's got the previous connection with Wendell, is going to reach out and say, "We're here. We're 2 votes. Whatever you want to do, let us know."
Really would like for Jenna in this scenario. I would love for Jenna to bring in Sebastian and Laurel to bring in Wendell, and they would get rid of Chris.
Yeah.
Before the merge.
That would be the target. That would certainly be the hope, is that they take Chris out in that regard. But I don't know that Sebastian's going to play that way. He doesn't strike me as he wants to play path of least resistance, kind of like Kellen in that regard.
Well, Chris is a threat to him, though.
Nah, they've been bros. I don't think Chris is a threat right now. Chris serves the same role that Sebastian serves for Chris.
Yeah,
they're a physical. Each one is
they are
blocking for the other in that regard. They're going to view it that way.
But
it would boil down to whether or not Wendell wants to make a move to try to set himself up for later.
Don't step on my dream.
Okay. Well, and it would come from Wendell, and Wendell's seems to have the stronger allegiance to Dominic between the two. He made nice with Chris and said, "Oh yeah, we're together," and he just went ahead and agreed with Chris, and Chris was running down Dominic so that it played smooth. He's smart, just like Laurel.
I think Wendell's playing an excellent game as well as Laurel. I'd like to see them.
I think the people at the merge in JSFL that aren't going to struggle are the ones that have Wendell as their USB. The rest of us who've lost our USB will pick a new one for a possible 5 points, and then it'll be other folks struggling to decide, do I want to abandon a possible 24 with someone who's still in the game, or do I want to, and switch to Wendell for 10, or switch to Donathan as the sentimental favorite, or some dark horse like Chelsea or Libby somehow pulling things out, getting control. Fantastic. Well, we want to thank everybody who took the time to send in your thoughts and your predictions and your life experience and sharing things that were going on. Hey, kid, you want to plane? We'd like to give a big thanks to CL Eliza01 for your review on iTunes. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much for helping get the word out about the podcast. Also, huge thanks to Hazel and Joseph for your donations. We use that towards our podcast expenses and really, really appreciate that support. Thank you so much.
And if you're playing in our fantasy league, don't forget to get your picks in before the deadline on Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time. And we hope everybody has a happy Easter.
Yep. Everybody who celebrates, happy Easter. Have a good one.